Hello, good evening, happy Sunday. I said that my next topic was going to be about depression. And I've been kind of like not wanting to talk about this, but I have to at this point. This is a time of year where depression is so prevalent with a lot of people. So, depression is the root of everything with mental illness and just feeling suicidal. And I just wanted to reach out to people and just talk a little bit. I had two friends actually, and I want to talk about that. I had one friend a couple of months ago during, the early part, like the end of summer, early fall, who actually tried to commit suicide. He had a suicide attempt, and he ended up, calling a hotline, and he got assistance. Then I had someone else who pretty much was just telling me that he struggles with suicidal thoughts. So that hits home for me because I don't know, going back to my past, I've had bouts with depression. And I had times where I had suicidal thoughts. I never did a suicide attempt, but I had times where I had long, drawn out suicidal thoughts where I would think about it every single day. So that hit home for me, and, I really just wanted to talk about it. Depression, especially in the African American community, is very, very real. And a lot of people suffer in the dark. So around this time of year, I don't know what it is. It's just really hard for a lot of people. The end of the year, people are just really depressed, really sad, which is why I say you just have to be very careful and you have to kind of read the signs. You have to be very careful how you treat your loved ones, how you treat your family, your friends, how you treat strangers. You never know what people are battling with. And a lot of people, as Black people in the Black community, we're told just pray about it and let me tell you what depression is. Depression is more than just that. People use depression, the word depressed, I'm so depressed, so loosely. If you knew what that meant, how it felt, if you knew what that meant and how it felt, you would not use that word so loosely. Depression is not just, oh my God, I failed my test, so I'm sad today. But then tomorrow I pick back up and I go on with my life. Depression is literally a death, like feeling that feeling, when you lose someone close to you, but feeling that feeling every single day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, months, for years. You are not wanting to do what people normally do. Let me break it down for you because I've been depressed. You know what I'm saying? It's not feeling like yourself. You don't recognize yourself anymore. You don't even know who you are. It's like a dark spirit living inside of you, like a dark cloud every day. Like people are calling you. I remember people used to call me and be like, oh, we're going to this party, or do you want to do so and so? I had I can't even think of the word, desire. I had no desire to go to places that I normally would go to. I had no desire to eat. You're not even hungry sometimes. It works for different people in different ways. I wasn't hungry. I didn't have a desire to go out with people. I didn't have a desire to do things, basically, like I said, that I would normally do on a normal basis. I just didn't want to. I didn't want to get out of bed. I would sleep and sleep and sleep all day and still be tired when I wake up. Not hungry, once again. Just then things would be going, great in my life. And I could be at a restaurant And then I would get up and be like, okay, well, excuse me, go to the bathroom and cry. I would have like these spasms of just crying and just feeling so low in my life. And I know the signs of depression. So when I see somebody and they're feeling low for a long, extended period of time, I try to reach out to them, whether it's in my job or at my job, just anyone, because you don't know what people are going through. Because like I said, I had a friend who tried to attempt suicide within the last couple of months. But this is the same friend now, okay? Let me just give you a whole picture. This is the same friend who is on social media, on all outlets of social media. So sometimes when people say social media is the devil, social media is the devil. It's serious. This was the same friend that was on social media shopping at Neiman Marcus, showing bags of him shopping at Neiman Marcus. Bought a new car, showing that off. He had a loft apartment in the heart of downtown. You would think somebody like that, oh my God, they're happy, they're living life. Suicide attempt. Was at the lowest in his life. But he was working every day to impress people. He was showing stuff every day that honestly, he really didn't have it. So he showed the loft with no furniture and he was living on a mattress. He didn't show that part. He showed the view of the loft. But he didn't show that he had just gotten evicted like a year prior to that from his other apartment. He didn't show that he didn't have any furniture. He did not show that the last car before he got his new car would not start. What am I saying? I'm saying with social media around this time, sometimes I have to take a break around this time too. Because honestly, there's a lot going on with social media. And around this time, if you are not careful, man, all jokes aside, if you're not careful, the devil will play on your mind. He will. What does the Bible say? He comes to kill, to steal, and to destroy. And the root of everything is in your mind. If he can get in your thoughts, in the way that you think, it's over with for you. So you got to stay prayed up. You got to keep yourself around people who have light. I don't know what else to say, but back to what I was saying about social media. Around this time, I used to get really sad on my timeline where it would be engagements. Here I am. I'm 31 years old. I'll be 32 next year. I've had a few small failed relationships, and there was one in particular failed relationship that was empty, leaving me broken, going nowhere, I just felt like I was wasting time with this person, you know? And it was just an in and out situation. We're off, we're on, we're off, we're on. Just an emotional roller coaster. And I just really thought, that this person was the one, that we were going somewhere, we were going to get married. So it's like every year I used to log into Facebook. And sometimes it really does get to me when I log on Facebook and I see engagements and people getting married. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm still here and I'm like, I know that I have all of these qualities. I know I have all these great things to offer. Why am I not married? Because I was that girl when I was, 6, 7, 8 years old. I was that girl. I'm sorry, y'all. My hand is hurting from holding this phone. But anyways, I was that girl that was like, okay, by age 25, I'm going to be here. I don't know if there's anybody else out here like that. By age 25, I'm going to have a car. I'm going to have a house. I'm going to have my husband. By 27, I'm going to have 2 kids. I was that woman. And I'm 31. And I don't have a husband. I don't have kids. I don't have a home. And that's still sometimes hard for me to adjust. My mom always tells me, like, stop having a rat race. Everything is about timing in life. God knows what he's doing. It's not about, you know what I'm saying, competing with your neighbor, looking over your neighbor's shoulder. One thing I've tried to live by is when you're looking at your neighbor and you're looking at a neighborhood and you're looking at, even when you're driving in a neighborhood and you're looking at someone's house, you're like, oh, that's a nice house. That's a nice house. You're looking at the outside. You're not looking inside. You're not going inside that house. You're not seeing the cracks, the crevices. You're not seeing the leaky pipes. The heater may be broken. The heater may not heat up to the top floor or upstairs. The circulation may not be there. They may not have any food in the refrigerator. The window may be cracked. They may need pest control. They may have a floor that creaks whenever somebody walks on it. I'm just saying this to say, stop looking at your neighbor's home because you're only looking on the outside. You're not looking on the inside. So all these people that you're comparing your life to, I had to stop doing that. And I'm telling you, social media is really the root of that. You're looking at people, you see these pictures, you see this, you see that. I even had a friend. I looked at her, I used to see her life. She has 2 beautiful children. I used to see her with her husband, and I'm like, oh my God, like, got married quick. Just awesome marriage. Bought her a car. Did all of these things for her. And I used to look at her, and it wasn't even in a jealous type way. I used to look at her in admiration, like, wow, like, you did it. You're successful. You know what I'm saying? And you have your husband. You have the dream family. Not knowing everything that she eventually told me, they're now separated. Like, there were infidelities, physical abuse, verbal abuse. Like, he bought her a car. I was like, oh my God, I would love for her. He bought her a car. He bought her bags, Gucci, like everything you would think of. And she got all of this in her 20s. And I was looking at her and like, God, I would love to have that. Not knowing what she was struggling with, not knowing that there were infidelities. Countless times, not one time, several times, not knowing that there were arguments, fights, physical altercations, not knowing that she had times where she was just miserable. She was hurting. And the only way for her to stop the hurt was to leave that situation. And she's doing so much better. But I'm saying this to say, you don't know what somebody is going through, and you're focusing on stuff. You're fixating your mind every day, every night, like you're saying to yourself that you need someone to be complete. But you don't need just someone. You don't need just anyone. You don't want just anyone. I've seen it time and time again. I have another friend right now that is married and that is getting beat up. But she's married. So you have to really think to yourself, what are you focusing on? And sometimes what you're focusing on is the root of your depression. And you have to count what you do have. You have to count your blessings. You have to count what you do have. This time of season, I'm telling you, depression is the root of all evil. And I always say you just have to really... So one thing I also try to do is really cleanse my mind. If that means logging out of Facebook, logging out of Instagram, logging out of Snapchat, whatever, for a couple of days and clearing your mind, reading a book, getting in your daily word, your Bible, do that. Talking to some friends, it's okay. Just relax your mind. And also, as far as vitamins, I would suggest vitamin D. I was also told by a doctor a couple of years ago that I had a vitamin D3 sufficiency. Well, I was insufficient, with vitamin D3. And that very well could have been the root of my depression. I did feel, a whole lot better once I began to, double up on vitamin D3 vitamins. So I would suggest, doubling up on B12, vitamin D, vitamin D3, vitamin A, folic acid, just everything natural to give you that extra boost in your moods and your hormones. Because this is a time where the devil plays on your mind. People take pictures of their Christmas gifts and you're like, oh man, I don't have that. But you have to make do with what you have. Whatever God has given you, you have to learn how to appreciate that. Because it could be so much worse. And when you focus every day on, I don't have the money, don't kill yourself trying to impress people who do not care about you. If you don't have it, you don't have it. I don't have the money to get my mom this and that. That's what some people say all the time. I don't have no money to... Just because you couldn't give her Chanel bags, you couldn't give her Louis Vuitton, doesn't mean that she doesn't appreciate the gift that you gave her. If you can only give her a nail clipper, her favorite candy bar, it's the thought that counts. And if people can't understand that, then what's your reason for giving gifts and receiving gifts? You don't even understand the meaning behind Christmas. And it's really not about gifts. It's just about the joys of the unseen, of what is felt. Everything that's material is not a gift. The joy, love, peace you have in your life, having another year with a living family member, you know what I'm saying? And then that's another thing. You have to be very careful. A lot of people have lost family members this year, and it's just really hard to grasp. Death is hard, and grieving and dealing with stuff like that. That's hard to just pick up from. You have to be very, very, very careful. So it's like when you have a situation where you're dealing with a lot and you have a goal, and everything in your life is not reflective of that goal, it's hard to pick up from that. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to sit and wait and wait and wait, and you're pushing and you're waiting and you're working and you're waiting, and there's nothing happening, and nothing. It seems like everything is getting you further and further away from your goals. But someone who's putting in minimal effort gets it instantly. That's a hard pill to swallow. So sometimes you have to take time for yourself to get your mind back on track and to just really focus. So when I have times like that where I feel like it's not just one day where things aren't going my way, it's just a season. It's a few months, maybe years, where things are just not going the way that I thought that they would go. What I have really been focusing on is just positive affirmations, Bible verses, just putting stuff up that I could see when I'm discouraged. And that helps. So if you are depressed, if you're feeling depressed, If you're feeling your mood, go towards that route. That's a wonderful tip. Put up positive affirmations. Put up your Bible verse. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up on wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. The joy of the Lord is my strength. There are just certain verses in the Bible that I love and that I lean towards. Lean not to your own understanding, but in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. When you don't understand, when life gets to you where you're like, it's things in your life, it's just back-to-back things. When it rains, it pours, like they say. And you're like, I don't understand why. I never question to God, why me? I think it's very selfish. Why not you? But I'm always just like, I don't really question why me. My thing is more so, I don't understand the reasoning behind it. Sometimes I just want to understand why. I want to understand why it is happening. I'll go through it, but I'm like, but God, I just want to know why it's happening. Why do I have to go through it? What is it teaching me? And sometimes the revelation is not clear. A lot of times I'll never know what it's teaching me, but I still have to go through it. And for me, that is hard, because I want to know, like, what was the point of this? Or what was the point of me meeting that person? Or what was the point of me going through that trial and tribulation? So in times like that where I don't understand, the Bible verse helps. Just putting up a Bible verse, seeing a smile, talking to a friend about it. Those are all things that you can do. They're all things. But if you get to a point where you can't take it anymore, you're getting to a point in your mind where everything is just so dark, so dim, you can't see the light of day. And even when people are like, you got to pray, you got to pray. Like I said, a lot of people are battling things that are so far beyond them, that's leading them to destruction in their mind. They don't even know who they are anymore. They are not themselves. When you get to that point, and it's just an everyday thing, day and night, you're feeling so much further attached from yourself. It's okay to talk to a counselor. It's okay I've talked to a counselor several times. It's okay to seek help, to seek a psychiatrist. The medicine, like I said, it didn't work for me. But if the medicine works for you, it works for people who have more severe issues with depression. If it works for you, then so be it. It works for you. You have to find out what works for you to get you back to your happy place. But I just want to talk about depression because depression at this time of year is always at a high time rise. It's almost scary because people are just thinking and overthinking and focusing on things that are making them depressed. And social media, like I said, it's okay to log out. It's okay to fast from everyone and everything and really get your mind right and get your mental health right. It's okay to ignore phone calls. Sometimes we are so overwhelmed in life with what we have going on. And I was at a point, I was giving myself freely to everyone. I was praying for people. I was being a listening ear to the point where I was neglecting my own issues. I was neglecting my own mental health. And I got overwhelmed. Life got hard for me. So it's okay to say, you know what? Let me take this time for myself. Let me ignore this phone call. Let me not talk tonight. Let me go to sleep early. Let me write in my journal tonight for the sake of my mental health. You may not have anyone you could talk to. Write in a journal. Write how you feel in a journal. Pray out loud. And it doesn't have to be a lengthy prayer. It doesn't even have to be on your knees. You can literally be sitting in your bed and talk to God the way that I'm talking to you. It doesn't have to be all drawn out. It doesn't have to be over exaggerated. It doesn't have to be dramatic. As long as it's from your heart, it's prayer. So, I don't know. It's a lot of things that you can do, but I want to see more people get out of depression and have a testimony like I did. I want to see more people get back to smiling. And I don't want you to live your life according to social media standards. Live your life according to America's standards. You are where you are supposed to be. And you will get to where you want to be when you are supposed to be there. Let God direct your path. Let God be your guiding light. That is my sermon to myself. Thank you, God. Let God be your guiding light. Let God do it for you. Let God matchmake. Don't let social media matchmake you. Don't let social media push you. Don't let social media throw you into the arms of a wrong relationship because you seeing all these people over here doing all of these things that you want. But it's like, what is your focus on? What are you worshiping? Are you worshiping the ideology of, I had to ask myself, of being in a relationship, and for what? To say, oh my God, you have someone. But if you're not complete, you're running into problems anyway. It's just best to just log out every now and then. Fast. Take a break. Settle your mind. You know what I'm saying? And just really take a deep breath. Even if it's family issues around this time, I get a lot of people that talk to me and they're like, I have a lot of issues with my family. I have a lot of things that I have to let go of. They did this to me. I had this in my family happen to me years ago. We just sweep it under the rug. And then when we get together for Christmas and Thanksgiving, it's like everything is great. I got to go around them and be fake. I really don't like these people. And I'm just like, let it go. And if someone has wronged you in your family, you got to be man enough or woman enough to, first of all, forgive them and then forgive yourself. Apologize. Reach out to them. Say, I'm sorry. Even if you didn't do anything wrong. It is the most freeing thing. Freeing thing ever. And if you want to talk about family, there's a lot of stuff about family that people don't know about me. But it's like, I've been there. I understand. But you have to talk to those people. You have to talk to that person who has wronged you. Life is short. Go to them as a man or woman and say, hey, I didn't feel like you did so-and-so for me, or during this situation, I felt so-and-so. I don't understand. Tell them everything, regardless of how they receive it. It's off of your chest. If there was an argument and y'all haven't talked in years, whatever the case may be, go to that person and tell them how you feel and let it go. It's freeing. If that's the root of your depression, there you go, problem solved. Some people don't even know that they've wronged you. They don't even feel like they've wronged you. And that's the beauty of communication. When you communicate with somebody, I felt like A, B, C, and D. A lot of the times when I communicate with people about how I felt wrong, it was from my perspective or my point of view. But that person will come back and be like, well, I didn't feel that way. I had no idea I did that to you. If so, I'm sorry. Boom. And now you've been harboring something that is so stupid, that's so small, that's so petty, that you could have communicated about for years. But instead, you harbored that hurt, that pain. Free yourself. Stop talking about your own family members behind their backs. Talk to that person. Free yourself. Free yourself of that pain. Free yourself of those grudges you're harboring. If that's the root of your depression, let it go. Oh, my so-and-so wasn't there for me. My blah, 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 blah. Call your so-and-so. If your parent wasn't there for you, call your parent and say, look, I don't feel like you were there for me. It's really that simple. It's all about changing your perspective about life. Don't make things complicated when it's not complicated. Communication is the key. I don't feel like you were there for me when I was a little girl, when I was a little boy. Give them a chance. Allow them a chance. Allow that parent a chance to explain. Because it may be from your perspective. There may be underlining things as to why they couldn't be in your life. If there's nothing there, if they just choose not to be in your life, well, then so be it. They choose not to be in your life. But it's up to you to say, look, you're not in my life, but guess what? I forgive you. I forgive myself. Just forgive them. Forgive them. Just let it go and just say, hey, it is what it is. I still love you because you are the parent that God has blessed me with. Despite whatever, I still have love for you. And you move forward. That's what life is all about. You move on. You create a new chapter for your life. And you let it go. But there's no use in harboring pain. It's no use in comparing yourself to somebody else's life. It's time to work on you. It's time. And another thing I wanted to share, because like I said, I had people, I got to find the number, y'all, I'm sorry. I had people who, like I said, I had friends who were dealing with just suicidal thoughts and one attempted suicide, which is why when this person calls the majority of the time, one thing I make a point of doing for my friend who did attempt suicide, I pick up that phone. Because I would hate to have a missed call from this person and I was the last person he tried to talk to before he, was having the thoughts again or something. So I try to, stay in contact with him, ask him how he's doing, make sure that he's okay. And that's what it's all about with people who are battling with depression, with people that are battling with depression. Reach out to them when you haven't heard from them. Say, hey, you don't have to make it obvious. I just want to make sure that you're okay, thinking about you, something like that. But if you ever get to a point where you're just like, you're feeling low, you're feeling sad, you're feeling upset, you're feeling hopeless, and you're thinking about killing yourself, I have a number. And that number is 1-800-273-TALK. 1-800-273-TALK. That is the National Suicide Helpline. If you ever feel as a person that you are too embarrassed to talk to people that you know, that you can't do it, that you can't talk to anyone that you know about the feelings that you have, those are licensed professionals. They will get you help. And you don't have to do that. Because I promise you, whatever you're allowing to take root into your mind to cause you to be depressed, to cause you to sink, to cause you to want to take your own life, it's very temporary. And it can be, most of the problems that we have can be solved. And the ones that can't, you just have to learn how to fix your attitude about it. Once you learn and master how to fix your attitude, how to change your perspective about it and stop being a pessimist and be more of an optimist, I promise you that's when things will turn around. Just try it. Even when you don't feel like smiling, smile. Even when you don't feel like speaking, speak. Force yourself into happiness. Force yourself to be happy. Because at the end of the day, you have life. And that is something to be grateful for. If you have food, if you have clothes, if you have shelter, that is something to be grateful for. You have to look at what you do have versus what you can't focus so much on what you don't have. You have to focus on what you do have. And that is just my talk with you guys. I hope it helps somebody. God has really pushed me to talk about this. I'm sorry. And I didn't want to. I'm like, I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it today. My hair is not looking right. I don't feel like it. I want to do it on my laptop. I want to edit. And God's like, honey, no. Just do it. So I just did it. I just did it. And I just did it as I was. I hope this helps someone. I hope this helps somebody. No editing, no nothing. I'm here telling you, you will get through it. Whatever you think you can't get through, you will always get through with God. There's no reason to be depressed. So don't let this season get you down. Focus on the positives in your life. Keep positive people around you. I cannot stress that enough. Negative people and miserable people will only bring you down to be miserable and negative with them. If you don't have anybody you can talk to that's positive, write in your journal. Write in your journal how you feel. If you don't have anyone you can vent to, if you're saying, God, I don't have anybody. I mean, there's plenty of things I've done by myself. I've gone to the movies by myself. If you don't have someone, stop complaining. Stop complaining. If that's the root of your depression, oh my God, I'm by myself for another Christmas. Who cares? Who cares? Take yourself out to dinner. Take yourself out to the movies. I've done it before. And you know how it felt? Great. Shoot, I went on a trip by myself. I went to San Juan, Puerto Rico by myself. Had the time of my life. So it's like, you got to live life for yourself. You can't live life for anyone else. Go out, do things that may feel uncomfortable, because right in the middle of comfort is the right in the middle of discomfort is the blessing. I promise you. I used to be that person. I wouldn't dare go to the movies by myself. I have gone to the movies by myself, dressed up, put on makeup. I'm preparing myself for my husband. That's what I say in my head. I'm preparing myself for my husband. How can you prepare yourself for someone, a husband or a wife, if you don't know how to be by yourself? So that's what I would suggest, because like I said, around this time of year, everyone gets sad. Another year, I'm single. Do things on your own. There's wonderful things here in Atlanta. You can go ice skating. You can go to the botanical gardens. They have lights that are lit up. You can go to Stone Mountain. They have Snow Mountain there. They have like some snow, some fake snow there that they do. You can do that by yourself. If you have a friend or some friends, call your friends. But if they're not available, your life should go on. One monkey should not stop a show. So as I said, I don't want you guys to be depressed. I don't want you guys to give up on your lives because of a temporary issue. Keep going. Keep smiling. If you need someone to talk to, I'm here. You don't have to tell me in public. You can message me. I've been there. I know what depression feels like. But you don't have to be in that hole. You don't have to be feeling like you're all alone. And don't let this time of season get your track off of focus. God still has a plan for your life. It may not be the timing that your friend's timing is, but it's your timing and it's in God's timing. And God knows what's best for you. Don't get yourself bent out of shape. Don't get in debt trying to please people with these gifts and all of this and get yourself all stressed out. Just relax, relate, release, let it go. And most of all, be blessed and have a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And be prosperous this season. And don't be depressed. Be happy. God bless.